Hiya people, yeah, I'm back again. Haven't got any vinyl this time. This time it's a CD update. This is a little quite a good amount of CDs I picked up for dirt cheap, which is what you can do with CD now. And probably stuff that if I wanted to pick it up on vinyl, some of this I probably couldn't even find. Or it would be like 20, 30 times the price. I love CDs still. It's become a really cheap way of exposing yourself to new music and just picking stuff up. And everybody knows I'm a skinflint anyway, so there you go. Right, so first couple of CDs are by a band. I vaguely remember knocking around from reading the music press back in the late 90s. But they'd completely, they'd faded from memory until one morning I was driving to pick up my daughter, and I just had the radio tuned to my local Exeter FM radio station, Phonic FM, which is a damn fine radio station actually. Really enjoy listening to that in the car. And they played a track from this band, and I thought, my goodness, what's that? So I searched online and I managed to track it down, and it's this lot. There you go, try and get, there we go. Group Dog Drill, Half Nelson. The song I heard was Silver Rockets, which is on there, I don't know if you can see it, but anyway. Silver Rockets, and it's really blew me away. This is a really damn fine rock album. They had a bit of an indie pedigree, really. They seem to have been pretty friendly with various members of the Wedding Present, especially members that played with the Weddos, sort of late 90s. And I think they played in bands with members of the Wedding Present and all kinds of stuff. But they don't sound like the Wedding Present. They're much heavier. They're a real good heavy band. Not metal, heavy rock. Kind of with a kind of alternative leaning. They do have an alternative leaning to them, mainly American, sort of maybe slightly grungy, sort of, but really top notch. Love this album. This is Half Nelson. The cover is actually all three of the band members enacting a Half Nelson wrestling move. But really good tracks. I mean, the track that I loved was called Silver Boots, which is really good. And also, what else is good on here? Jackie O is a good track. In fact, the whole thing from start to finish is top notch. Really good stuff. And seeing as it was also cheap, I picked up this one as well, which is their second album. They only released 2 albums. And this shows more variation in their sound. There's kind of Fall-esque feel to some of the tracks. A lot more influences coming through. But both CDs, I really recommend both of these. They're really, really good. Right, so I got those off Amazon. They were 1p, and then you pay for the postage. Top notch on Amazon. Sometimes you can pick up some really dirt cheap stuff. The rest of the stuff came from various charity shops around Exeter. I popped into one shop and I found this. Now, I knew nothing about this. Absolutely nothing, but I just liked the look of the cover. I thought, oh, he's a chilled out dude. Check that out for £1. So this is Pete Murray, and this is Summer at Eureka. I read up online about him. He was quite big in Australia at one point. I mean, his first 3 albums went to the top of the Australian charts. This one, I think, is the third of them. I think this is his 3rd album. Really good, laid back, sort of mellow, kind of rocky stuff. Kind of folky, singer-songwritery. But I really, really like this album. It's a really good listen, especially sort of this time of the evening. We're now at about 6, 7 o'clock or whatever it is on a summer's evening. Great album for that. So there we go. I'm sure some of the Antipodean members of the VC know who this is. To me, he was a complete unknown. The only Pete Murray I knew was an old Radio 2 DJ, for those people who are in the UK. But this isn't him. Nothing to do with him. Really good. Love picking that up. Next one is an album by Ash Grunwald. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I think it's Grunwald or Grunwald. I don't know. This is really good. You can see him there. He's a dreadlocked blues player. Well, he did have dreadlocks. I think he's cut them off now. But this is a blues rock album. Really top-notch stuff. Also from Australia. I've heard one of his other albums as well, which is more of a band kind of style effort, much heavier. But this, really good blues, modern blues, is really good. Really rate this. So there we go, Ash Grunwald. I was blown away by this one. This is Bonnie Raitt, and I think this is her second album. This is Give It Up. I was blown away by this. I tried listening to Bonnie Raitt a few times, and for me it was all too slick and polished, but I guess I listened to her early 90s, maybe mega selling stuff. This was nowhere near as successful, but it's really good. Really good. Some absolutely cracking tracks. Give It Up or Let Me Go. Love Has No Pride, that's a good one. Kind of slight folky tinge to it, but then you've got this harder rocking blues edge to it. So a lot of the tracks. She's got a sweet, pure voice on these ones, but then she can raunch it up when she needs to. And I'm going to have to investigate more of her early stuff, because it sounds right up my alley. Not like the mega selling stuff that she released in the 90s. So Bonnie Raitt, really recommend that. Next two, I had to get these. I thought I had these, mainly because of one single that are on each album. I thought I had them, but I must have had, I don't know, maybe I just streamed them, or I had MP3 copies that I listened to on my MP3 player. But they are Kylie, that Fever, yeah, which has got Can't Get You Out of My Head on it, which is one of the pop songs of this century so far. Yeah, it was this century. And the follow-up to that, Kylie, Body Language. I like Kylie, especially sort of the post Stock Aitken and Walkman years. I mean, even during the later part of Stock Aitken and Walkman, she started to do some more interesting stuff. But after she had her indie freak out in the mid-90s, and especially after Confide in Me, which was a storming single, she had some brilliant stuff released. I mean, in here, again, Can't Get You Out of My Head, I think, is an absolutely amazing song. But things like More and More and More, Come Into My World, really ace pop. Really ace pop. Love that. And this one, I think, the lead single, Slow, is one of the tracks of since the turn of the millennium. I revisit that track time and time again. Probably overall not quite as good, but it's Kylie, it's pop, you know what you're going to get, and she's absolutely stunning. I just think she's absolutely stunning. Right, there you go, bit of pop. Right, back to the normal stuff, the stuff that I normally buy. This is a band called Oyster Band. They're a folk band from, now where were they? Oh, I can't remember. Down south of England somewhere, I think. They had their roots, interesting enough, in Fiddler's Dram, who released Lovely Day in Bangor or whatever. Didn't we have a lovely day the day we went to Bangor? I'm sure people in the UK will know that tune, especially of a certain age. But they became more of an indie folk band during the 80s and later in the 90s. I'm sure I've probably heard them somewhere in one festival or another. Been sort of knocking around the festivals I've been to. But this is interesting stuff. It's definitely folk with an indie edge. I mean, they cover New Order on here. Love Vigilantes is on here. But some really good tracks on it. Production isn't quite what I like. I like a little bit more grit in my production, I guess. This is quite smoothly produced, I would say. But still, excellent album. Really good. I'm going to have to check out more of the Oyster Band. I've been meaning to do it for years, and but every time I've come across a CD or something, it's always been wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. But this one, good nick. Got it for 50p. Dead happy. And I got it for 50p because it was basically £2 for £1, and I only got this one because it was the only other CD worth picking up that I didn't have. So here we got Hard-Fi, British band who were around sort of the mid 2000s, sort of that British indie revival, sort of where you had The Enemy and Hard-Fi and who else? Libertines were still knocking about, I think, just about, well, they came just before that really. But it was that kind of guitar rock revival that we had. I prefer their first album, but there's still a couple of decent tracks on here, like Suburban Nights is pretty good. But I've basically for nothing, because I would have paid £1 for the Oyster Band anyway, so basically for nothing I got that. One of the worst covers I've seen. No cover art, my arse, you couldn't be bothered. Yeah, that's alright. Another CD I picked up just for basically one track, and it's a little bit more pop, is this one, Dizzy Rascal, Tongue in Cheek. I got this because of Bonkers. I absolutely love that track, Bonkers. I haven't listened to this yet, but I will do. I mean, I remember some of the, like Dirty Cash, I remember being around. I think Road Rage, was that a single? Can't remember. But I'm looking forward to listening to that, and I've got it just for Bonkers, basically. Dead chuffed I picked this one up for £1. It's a double CD single, or double EP from Portishead. This is great. We've got the Glory Times. So you've got, this is called Glory Times. You've got the Sour side, which is disc 1. And then you've got Glory, which is disc 2. And it's lots of different tracks. A lot of tracks that didn't make it onto their album. The first album. So you've got Sour Times, which is always Sour Times. You've got a couple of mixes of Glory Box. But there's a lot of tracks on here that didn't make it. Like you've got the theme from To Kill a Dead Man, which is their film they put together. Tracks like Toy Box and Scorn. So happy I picked this up. Always happy to pick Portishead up. I think they are an absolutely amazing band. All three of their albums are worth investigating if you've never heard them. First one is the Ultimate Trip Hop album. Then they went a bit more sophisticated on the second one, and the third one, my goodness me, is when they came back after the gap of about, what was it, 12 years, 10 years, something like that. That is a listen and a half. That is absolutely amazing. So there we go. Bit of Portishead from Bristol. I'm not sure where I know this lot are UK based, but I'm not sure where they're from. This lot is Delphic, and we've got their album Acolyte. I think this was their debut album. Really, total 80s. Totally 80s. This could have been recorded in, say, 1984, 85. And it really wouldn't have been out of place. But obviously, with the modern production, yeah, this is alright, actually. Really 80s, though. I mean, it just sums it up. It's that kind of synth pop, but a kind of more sophisticated synth pop. It's, I really enjoyed listening to that. I wouldn't necessarily recommend this one. I don't think it's an amazing album, but yeah, for £1, if you see it, pick it up, have a listen. There you go. And then we'll round off with a few compilations that I picked up. I'll do that one last. Do that one first. I do like picking up CDs that were released with the Mojo magazine, because they did some ace compilations on there. Not just the ones that show new tracks. They're best new tracks ones. I don't like them. A lot of it's filler. But this one, when I do things like this, which is the roots of Nirvana, just a really strong track listing. I mean, it starts off with Mudhoney. You've got Beat Happening on here. Shonen Knife, always worth listening to Shonen Knife. I think they're a brilliant band. Big Black. Vaselines, which has got Jesus Don't Want Me for a Sunbeam, which Nirvana covered on MTV Unplugged. Got Meat Puppets with Plateau, which again they covered on MTV Unplugged. Green River, which were the first grunge band, which members went into Pearl Jam and Mudhoney. Melvins with an absolutely amazing track called Goat Night. The heaviest bass. I mean, that's where a lot of stoner sludge came from. And rounded off by a live version of Gimme Danger by the Stooges. Not the best version I've ever heard, but yeah, it's a good CD, that is. Really happy with that. When I see these, got to pick them up. Motown Chartbusters. I mean, you know what you're getting with this. You're getting the best tracks from one of the best labels of all time. Brilliant pop, R&B. Absolutely amazing stuff. So here you've got things like great Marvin Gaye's Grapevine. You've got, put the glasses on. You've got This Old Heart of Mine by the Isleys. What else? Dancing in the Street, Martha Reeves. Get Ready by the Temptations. Love Child by the Supremes. Roadrunner by Junior Walker. Tracks of My Tears, great. I mean, great pop music. Outstanding compilation. I should have done this after Delphic, because this is when I see these for £1, I tend to pick them up, because you might. This is quite a good one. It's kind of on the alternative side of the 80s. I mean, you've got people. I mean, the track listing is stupendous, and there's tracks on here that I kind of, well, Guilty Pleasure is a load of bollocks, but things like I Just Died in Your Arms by Curtain Crew, I can't help it. I like it. I do like it, but it's got other stuff like the Midure #1, If I Was. It's got Roxy on here. It's got Duran. It's got Elvis Costello. You've got Kate Bush. You've got Dexys with Gino. Safety Dance, which is great. Funboy 3. Mel and Kim Respectable, which I like because the Poppy sampled it on Box Frenzy. Betty Davis Eyes. It's great. There's a few Duff tracks, but I always pick up 80 compilations. It just takes me right back to when I was 12, 13. Absolutely brilliant. And the final one I picked up, and I saw this, and I thought, shall I, shan't I? Oh, let's do it. It was £1. Now 48. Now, the reason I got this now, I've never owned an album in my life. But earlier this year, I really got into the comedy program CarShare, which is, what's his name? Oh, Peter. Oh, what is it with names at the moment? Absolutely diabolical. Big fat comedian from up north. That's probably a terrible way of describing him, but you know, the large comedian from up north who did Phoenix Nights, and I've forgotten his name, and somebody will put it down there. But anyway, CarShare I thought was hilarious, absolutely hilarious, and this was the soundtrack to it. Basically, it was the female character's favourite CD and she used to bung it on in the car. So a lot of these tracks were used actually on the programme. and I thought it was a great way of doing a soundtrack. And this actually made it into the British national charts because of that programme. Peter Kay. Peter Kay! Anyway, Peter Kay's CarShare. I loved it. Loved the programme, so I thought I'll pick it up. This was going for silly money I think this was going up for 20 quid odd back when the programme was out. But I picked up a copy for £1. Wouldn't pay any more than that for it. And it's not stuff that I'd normally listen to, but bung that on and I can pretend I'm in CarShare. There we go. Bung that on in the car. So there we go. No vinyl this time. I will be showing vinyl soon again. But I've got I'm still preparing an interesting video. I'm starting to do some videos based on my CD collection, and it'll be discussing. It won't just be showing CDs. It'll be discussing maybe groups of bands or scenes or stuff like that. And it's just a way of me talking about music, really, rather than saying, "Oh yeah, I got this on CD" or whatever. It's a way of maybe showing some love for bands that don't really get shown on the VC, because they brought out a lot of music that people bought on CD when vinyl was going into its then terminal phase, apparently so, before the Great Revival recently. But that's in the future. So I hope you enjoyed that little trawl through what I picked up recently. I've certainly enjoyed listening to these. Top notch, some of it. Absolutely brilliant. So, thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you all soon. Cheers, VC. See you later. Bye, people.